Suddenly you're out of debt. Don't be discouraged by the clouds. They're only temporary. It was cloudy in our life in 1981 when my mother was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer. Those clouds came storming in, and everywhere we looked, it was dark, gloomy, depressing. The forecast said a few weeks to live. But people don't have the final say, God does. He said, I have unexpected sunshine. I'm going to cause those clouds to open up, shine down healing, shine down restoration. That's what happened in my mother's life. Unexpectedly, the sun came out. 34 years later, she's still healthy and whole. But when it's cloudy, every voice will tell you it's never going to change. You'll always be addicted, always be discouraged, always struggle in your career. Don't believe those lies. God is saying, I have unexpected sunshine coming your way. It's going to be unusual, out of the ordinary, and it's going to happen suddenly. Those clouds are going to break open. You're going to see rays of healing, rays of favor, rays of promotion. Now do your part and get in agreement with God. Start acting like it's going to happen, thinking like it's going to happen, talking like it's going to happen. No more, I'll never get well, Joel. I've had this too long. No, God is restoring health back into me. The number of my days He will fulfill. No more, I never get any good breaks. I'll never accomplish my dreams. No, I have the favor of God. Blessings are chasing me down. I'm the head and not the tail. No more, this problem is too big. I don't see a way out. No, it may be big, but I know my God is bigger. May be a little cloudy right now, but I know a secret. Unexpected sunshine is coming my way. Jesus said in Matthew 6:22, a pure eye lets sunshine into your soul. When you have this attitude of faith, positive, hopeful, expecting good things, that pure eye is letting sunshine into your life. But when we go around stressed out, worried, thinking it's never going to change, that's stopping the sun. It's causing more clouds to roll in, more defeat, more mediocrity. You have to start letting some sun shine into your life. It doesn't start with God, it starts with us. Instead of being discouraged by the dark clouds, our attitude should be, any moment this can change. Healing is coming. Promotion is coming. The right person is coming. Breakthroughs are coming. If you want to see the clouds open up, you have to have this expectancy. Shake off the negativity. Quit talking about what's not working out. Turn it around. God, I know You're in control of these clouds. They didn't come to stay, they came to pass. I believe at any moment I'm going to see that unexpected sunshine. A friend of mine had a supervisor at work that was very condescending and hard to get along with. Nobody liked the man. This supervisor had been a constant source of frustration year after year. He was a young man. He could have easily been there for another 20 or 30 years. And my friend had a good attitude. He was determined to be his best right where he was. But in the back of his mind, he thought, this is going to be a pain to have to put up with this man the rest of my life. One morning, he came to work. Everything seemed like normal. But the management called a special staff meeting. They told how this supervisor's wife had been transferred to another state. And just without any warning, he resigned and was no longer with the company. Half of the staff fell down on their knees, began to thank God. What was that? Unexpected sunshine. He didn't see it coming. The forecast was cloudy. All the reports said this problem is permanent, but God controls the universe. He knows how to suddenly change things. He can suddenly move the wrong people out. He can suddenly open doors you never dreamed would open. That's why you can't just go by what you see. What you see is temporary. Like those weather forecasts, it may tell you it's going to be the same month after month, year after year, gloomy, depressing. It's never going to change. In the natural, that may be true. But the good news is we serve a supernatural God. On your own, you may be stuck, but you're not on your own. the creator of the universe, the God who spoke worlds into existence, has you in the palm of His hand. He's directing your steps. He controls the clouds. He controls the winds. He doesn't have to wait for the weather to get better. Doesn't have to wait for the medical report to improve. Doesn't have to wait for the situation to turn around. No, when it's your time for promotion, for healing, for abundance, all the forces of darkness cannot stop our God. Don't get discouraged and give up on what you're believing for. You need to get ready. Those clouds are about to open up. The sun is about to break through. Just like I saw in my office that day, in 15 minutes, all the clouds went out of the sky, totally cleared up. God knows how to make what should have taken years happen in a fraction of the time. You're going to look up and say, like my friend, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see my supervisor resigning that quickly. I didn't see my health improving this fast. I didn't see that new house on the radar. I didn't see that favor coming. A gentleman that's attended Lakewood for many years had a major stroke. He was told by the medical professionals that he would probably never be able to walk or talk again. And even if he did relearn how to do it, it would take years of rehabilitation. It looked cloudy. The forecast was very depressing. But this man understood this principle that God has unexpected sunshine. He didn't sit around in self-pity. He knew he was a victor, not a victim. He went to therapy every day, and he amazed the therapist. They had never seen anyone like him. 16 months after he had the stroke, he came back to Lakewood for the first time. He came back not in a wheelchair, not on a walker. He walked in on his own 2 feet. He was told that he would never be able to lift this left arm. But when I saw him in the lobby and our eyes met, he lifted that arm, both arms raised in the air, raised in victory. I'll never forget that image. He wasn't disabled. He wasn't limping. What should have taken years, God made happen in a fraction of the time. Unexpected sunshine. The scripture puts it this way: when darkness overtakes the righteous, light will come bursting in. Doesn't say it'll trickle in, barely get there, hopefully make it one day. No, suddenly, unexpectedly, it will come bursting in. That means it wasn't on the radar. You didn't see it coming. But God, in His goodness, turned it all around. It may be dark in your life right now, cloudy in some area. You don't see how you'd ever get well, ever get out of debt, ever see the legal situation resolved. Here's the key. You are the righteous. You are a child of the Most High God. You have royal blood flowing through your veins. That means you have a promise from your Creator. When it gets dark, when you could easily be discouraged, when you feel like giving up, God says you need to get ready. Light is about to burst in. Healing is going to burst in. Favor is going to burst in. Vindication, restoration is going to suddenly show up. I talked to a man that knew the Lord as a child, but when he was a teenager, he got off course, started running with the wrong crowd. He was living a very violent life, selling drugs, involved in crime. He was a disaster waiting to happen. Most of his life, he was high. Surely God wouldn't have anything to do with him. It was his own fault. He brought the trouble on himself. But God is so merciful. Even though he was making poor choices, even though he turned away from God, God didn't turn away from him. God still saw him as the righteous. In the midst of all that trouble, God said, that's my son. He belongs to me. He's overcome by darkness, so my light is about to come bursting in. He was in a hotel room, been there for 4 days doing drugs with some very violent people. Something happened to where he couldn't make his payment. They became very angry and were about to take his life. He ran and barricaded himself in the bathroom. High on drugs, he said, this is it. God, I'm sorry, my life is over. In a few minutes, the door was violently kicked in. He braced himself, expecting the worst. When he looked up, it wasn't who he thought. It was a group of young people from Teen Challenge. He had been involved with that ministry as a teenager. Now, years later, they heard that he was in trouble. Somehow they found him in the middle of the night in this drug-infested, run-down hotel. Just in the nick of time, they burst in there like Navy SEALs. The other people thought they were the police and took off running. They picked him up off the ground, said, God sent us here to rescue you because you belong to Him. That night was a turning point in his life. He never did another drug. Got out of that violent lifestyle. Today he goes around to schools and churches telling people what God has done for him. Maybe like this young man, you have a son, a daughter, a family member that's off course, running with the wrong crowd. They've been overcome by darkness. You could easily be discouraged, but stay in faith. Your child belongs to God. There's nothing that can snatch them out of His hand. They may be in darkness, but light is coming. Deliverance is coming. Freedom is coming. God is not judging them by where they are right now. God is not abandoning them because they turned their back. God still sees them as the righteous. Light is still about to burst in. Or maybe you've made poor choices. You don't think you could expect anything good. Joel, God would never help me. You don't know the life that I've lived. It doesn't say God will help the righteous as long as you don't make any mistakes. Have a new perspective. You belong to God. You are His child. Now you have to have this attitude, God, I made this mess. I brought this trouble on myself, but I know You're a God of mercy. I believe You still have unexpected sunshine coming my way. In other words, I'm struggling with this addiction, but I believe deliverance is on the way. Restoration, vindication is going to suddenly show up. Numbers chapter 17, there had been a power struggle over who would become the next priest. The people were questioning Moses' authority. God told Moses He was going to show them who the priest should be. And God instructed Moses to take the staffs, the walking sticks from the leaders of each of the tribes of Israel. He placed these walking sticks in a tent next to the Ark of the Covenant. That's where God lived back there. And these staffs were just old, dried up, dead pieces of wood. Just basically a stick that they had used for years. The next morning, the staff of Aaron had sprouted branches, grown leaves, and even produced almonds. Here, this old piece of dead wood was now blooming and blossoming. They knew Aaron was supposed to be the priest. One lesson we can learn from this story is that God can change things overnight. He can take a situation that should take years to resolve and accelerate it. You may think it's going to take years to get well, years to get out of debt, years to accomplish your dreams. God knows how to speed it up. One good break, one phone call, one idea, suddenly, unexpectedly, overnight, God can change it. Now, don't believe the lies that it's never going to get better. Joel, my marriage situation, it looks dead. My dreams, my financial situation, it all looks dead. That's okay. God took a stick that had been dead for years and caused it to produce new fruit. What you think is dead, God is saying, I can still cause it to bloom, to blossom. I can breathe new life in it. You can still become who you were created to be. You can still overcome that obstacle. You can still accomplish your dreams. I received a letter from a lady that had been married for 47 years, but because of some hurtful things in the relationship, she and her husband had recently gotten a divorce. And somebody invited her to Lakewood. Her ex-husband heard and asked if he could come. The Saturday night before the service, they had a big disagreement on the phone. Nothing had changed. Sunday morning, he went and picked her up, and on the way over in the car, they had another major argument. She was so upset, she almost got out and wouldn't come in. They finally arrived and went way up to the top to sit. She mentioned to an usher that it was their first time and they were visiting. He said, oh, follow me. He took them from the very top to the front section and sat them on the second row. They were very moved by the service. During the prayer time, they came up and prayed with one of our volunteer prayer partners, a young lady. After the service, being new, they didn't really know where to go, so they walked out this exit right over here by my left. I was coming out of a small room. She was coming around a corner, and we literally bumped into each other. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Out of all the people here, she was surprised that she bumped into me. Her husband spoke up and said, we just got divorced after 47 years. We came to church because we're hurting. I told them it wasn't a coincidence that we had bumped into each other. It was the hand of God directing their steps. I had a new book that was out, and I asked them if they'd come upstairs with me, and I gave them a copy of my book, and we prayed together. And as they were leaving through that lobby, thousands of people walking in and out, it just so happened they bumped into the young lady that had prayed with them during the service, that volunteer prayer partner. She asked if this couple had a moment that they could talk together. She spoke to them about forgiveness, restoration, new beginnings. The wife was having a hard time forgiving. She looked her in the eyes and said, your husband is a good man. He deserves your forgiveness. That moment, she released the hurt. Their marriage was restored. That was 6 years ago. Today, they are happily remarried right here on the front row. John and Ann, some of our most faithful volunteers. Really great people. Ann wrote at the end of the letter, Joel, we were both stunned at how quickly God turned things around. Friends, God knows how to change things overnight. Even situations that look impossible. You think it's way too far gone. God knows how to break through those dark clouds. Suddenly, the relationship is restored. Suddenly, you get healthy again. Suddenly, you get that break you need. God is going to accelerate what you think should take years. You know what that usher was that brought them from the top down to the front? Unexpected sunshine. You know what that volunteer prayer partner was that took time to speak faith into their life, that prayed with them that day? Unexpected sunshine. What am I saying? God has the right people lined up for you. He knows how to put you at the right place at the right time. What are the chances, all the people here, that we would bump into each other? It wasn't a coincidence. It was unexpected sunshine. You may think, Joel, my situation, I don't see how it could ever work out. Here's the beauty. You don't have to figure it out. All you have to do is believe. Just because you don't see a way doesn't mean that God doesn't have a way. He already has the solution. Our attitude should be, God, my life is in your hands. It's a little cloudy right now. I don't see how I could accomplish my dreams, but God, I believe you have unexpected sunshine coming my way. I believe you'll get me to where I'm supposed to be. The psalmist put it this way, weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. Think about this. Morning starts at midnight. At midnight, it's still dark, but it's a new day. In a few hours, light is coming. The sun's going to break forth. But too often, when it's dark in our life, we think, oh man, nothing's changing. Joel, it's never going to get any better. No, you have to believe that you passed midnight. You have to believe that you've entered into a new day. And here's the key. Don't wait to thank God until you see the sunshine. Dare to thank Him while it's still dark. Dare to have a good attitude while it's still cloudy. This is what faith is all about. We think, when I see it, I'll believe it. But faith says you have to believe it and then you'll see it. But when things aren't going our way, it's easy to do just the opposite. Get negative, complain. Why can't I get any good breaks? When is this ever going to change? No, turn it around. It may be dark right now, but Lord, I believe I've entered into a new day. I believe I've passed midnight, so I want to thank you that joy is coming. Healing is coming. The right person is coming. The breakthrough is coming. Lord, thank you for your unexpected sunshine. You live like that, you're going to see some suddenlies. Those clouds are going to break open. God will amaze you with His goodness. This couple I know were at the beach. They were in the water, playing in the waves, having a lot of fun. And at one point, the lady felt her expensive diamond necklace slip off of her neck into the water. And they were right at the place where the waves were breaking. The water was all stirred up like a washing machine. She and her husband looked hour and after hour, but it was impossible. The water was so turbulent, they had no chance of finding it. And even though she was disappointed that she lost it, she didn't let it steal her joy or sour the rest of her vacation. The next morning, she went out to the beach very early to enjoy the beautiful sunrise. Standing there in the surf, thanking God for what He had done, not even thinking about her necklace. Under her foot, as the waves retreated, it pulled more and more sand out, little by little. In a few minutes, she felt something sharp poking her foot. She thought it was a rock, a seashell. She looked down. It was her diamond necklace. Unexpected sunshine. Only God could make that happen. That's like finding a needle in the haystack. The good news, God created the haystack. He knows where everything is. He tells every grain of sand where to go. He controls the sea. He controls the clouds. If God can help her find a necklace in the ocean, He can bring your dreams to pass. He can help you overcome that problem. He has it all figured out. Well, Joel, I don't have the connections. That's okay. He does. I don't have the resources. That's all right. He owns it all. Well, the medical report says no way. God has the final say. He says yes way. It may be cloudy in your life, but I can sense in my spirit those clouds are about to open up. You need to get ready. You are close to a breakthrough. It's going to happen sooner than you think. You're about to see some suddenlies. Now do your part. Let the sun shine into your life. We're all waiting for something, waiting for a dream to come to pass or to meet the right person, for our health to turn around. When it's been a long time and we don't see any sign of it, it's easy to get discouraged and think that it's never going to work out. But God said in Isaiah, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. When God put the promise in your heart, when He gave you that dream, He determined the right time to bring it to pass. He's already scheduled your healing, your breakthrough, your promotion. There are right time moments in your future where things will fall into place. The right people will show up. The opportunity will find you. And what you're believing for may not have happened yet, but when you understand that God has a right time, that it's already been scheduled by the Creator of the universe, you won't live worried, frustrated. When is it ever going to happen? You'll stay in peace knowing that your right time is coming. Now, the right time is the best time. God can see the big picture. He knows not only when you're ready, but when other people are ready. While you're waiting, it may seem like nothing is happening, but behind the scenes, God is working, moving the wrong people out of the way, lining up the favor, arranging the breaks that you need. It's important to not only trust God, but trust His timing. Thoughts will tell you it's never going to happen. You'll never meet the right person. It's been too long. You'll never get well. The odds are against you. Don't believe those lies. When you come into your right time, all the forces of darkness cannot stop what God has planned. At the right time, your healing will come. At the right time, the person of your dreams will show up. At the right time, your business will take off. At the right time, you'll come out of that addiction, that depression, that trouble at work, and live in freedom, wholeness, victory. Don't get discouraged because it hasn't happened yet. Your right time is coming. God said, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. The beauty is we don't have to make it happen. You don't have to manipulate things, force a door to open, make yourself get well. God is going to make it happen. You may have obstacles that are too big for you. You don't see how you can get out of debt, how you can have a baby, how you can accomplish a dream. The good news is you're not on your own. At the right time, God will open the doors. He'll cause you to conceive. He'll turn your child around. At the right time, God changed a city council member's mind and we got the Compaq Center. At the right time, God stepped in and healed my mother of terminal cancer. At the right time, David took a slingshot and defeated a giant. At the right time, prison doors flung open for Paul and Silas. You may not see how this can happen. The odds are against you. You're looking at it in the natural. God is supernatural. He's not limited by what limits us. He has these right time moments in your future where He's going to make things happen that you could never make happen. Now, here's the key. If there's a right time, that means any other time is the wrong time. It takes faith and patience to see the promises. We live in a microwave society. I like everything fast. God, do it now. The longer I live, the more I've learned to trust God's timing. God knows what He's doing. He can see the big picture. If it hasn't happened yet, it hasn't been the right time. You have to trust Him. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. God has not forgotten about you. Your right time is already scheduled. If it would have happened sooner, it wouldn't have been a blessing. In the waiting process, God's doing a work in us, getting us stronger, developing our character, preparing us to carry the weight of glory. If the situation is not changing, maybe God is using the situation to change you. If it's not working out yet, maybe He's working out something in you. The test is, will you trust Him while you're waiting for the right time? Will you keep a good attitude? Will you stay in faith when you don't see anything happening? This is when it's easy to get discouraged, live stressed. God, when are you going to do something? When am I going to meet the right person? When is my business going to grow? When are these people at work going to start treating me better? Why don't you relax and come back to a place of peace? God sees what you're going through. He knows what you need. He knows your dreams, your goals. He's the one that put them in you. And what He has purpose for your life will come to pass. One scripture says, it won't be 1 second late. Thoughts will tell you, no, you're falling behind. You're missing out. Everyone's getting ahead of you. No, you're right on schedule. God is ordering your steps. You keep honoring Him, doing the right thing. You're going to come into these right time moments where He's going to thrust you ahead. It was a long time waiting, but when you see what God does, you'll say, it was worth the wait. What God is going to do is going to be bigger, better, more rewarding than what you had in mind. When Abraham was 80 years old, his wife Sarah was 70, God gave them a promise that they would have a baby. In the natural, this was impossible. No one had ever had a baby at that age. Sarah had been barren her whole life, never had any children. When they first heard this promise, it was so far out they laughed. They thought, God, that's a good one. You must have the wrong couple. There's no way we can have a child. If God would have given them this promise when they were in their 20s, 30s, when it was a normal time to have children, they would have believed. But sometimes God will wait on purpose to when the odds are against us. Seems like it's too late. We're too old, or we don't have the training, the medical report's not good, we don't come from an influential family. We have plenty of excuses to not believe. But when God gives the promise, He sets the time to bring it to pass. He doesn't give you the dream and then say, well, I'm going to think about it a few months. Let me ponder that for a while. The moment He gives it to you, He puts the promise on the schedule. He marks the right time. Like Abraham and Sarah, what God has spoken to you may seem impossible, like it could never happen. Don't get talked out of your dream. Don't let doubt, what you don't see happening, how unlikely it is, keep you from believing for what God promised. When thoughts tell you there's no way, it's been too long, just say, no thanks, I know my right times are coming. Father, thank you that what you promised is already on the schedule, that I don't have to figure it out, but you're going to make it happen, and it's not going to be 1 second late. We're all going to wait, but learn to wait the right way. Wait in faith. Wait with expectancy. Wait with praise, thanking God in advance that it's on the way. See, Abraham and Sarah, at first, they didn't believe they could have a baby. They were filled with doubt. How can this happen? God said in Genesis 18, "Is there anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return and give Sarah a son." God said, in effect, you may be doubting. You don't see how, but I have already set the right time. At the appointed time, she will give birth. Notice God set the time when He gave the promise. Whatever God has promised you, He's already set the right time. It's already in your future. The question is, what do we do when it's taking longer than we thought? God's timing is not our timing. On the way to your promise being fulfilled, there will be opportunities to get discouraged, give up on what you're believing for. If it's going to happen, it would have happened by now. Just accept it. That's when you have to dig down deep and say, God, I trust you. I know you wouldn't have promised me this if you didn't have a right time on my schedule. Don't live with a "it's never going to happen" mentality. Live with a right time mentality. If you knew one of your right times was October 16th at 2:30 in the afternoon, you were going to meet the person of your dreams. The medical report was going to say cancer-free. An opportunity to expand your business was going to come to you. If you knew that right time was coming, you would relax. You wouldn't live worried. You wouldn't waste time trying to figure it out, not able to sleep at night. God doesn't tell us when, but He does promise when the time is right, He's going to make it happen. A year went by and Abraham and Sarah didn't see a baby. 2 years, no child. 3 years, she was still barren. They made some mistakes. They tried to help God out. Sarah told Abraham to sleep with her maid. That way they could have a child. Abraham said, "Let me pray about it." And he prayed for 4 seconds and said, "Okay, I'm good with that." He slept with the maid. They had a son, but it wasn't the promised child. That baby caused all kinds of strife and division. You don't have to help God out. You don't have to manipulate, force, strive. May not happen as fast as you would like, but you have to trust God's timing. Trying to force things to happen, the Scripture calls that works of the flesh. That's not going to change the right time. It's just going to bring frustration. It's much better to wait and for God to do it His way. Abraham and Sarah eventually learned this principle. Romans 4 says, even though Abraham was 100 years old, Sarah was 90 and had been barren, Abraham never wavered in believing that the promise would come to pass. They quit being frustrated. They quit trying to force it to happen. And they started believing that their right time was in their future. Instead of living sour, God, when is it going to happen? We're too old. It's been too long. I can hear him all through the day. Lord, thank you that the right time is coming. We don't see how. We don't know when, but we do know you are a faithful God. That when you promised us the child, you put the right time on our schedule. What's interesting is Sarah wanted a baby, but God wanted a nation. She would have been thrilled to give birth to a son, but God was setting up something much bigger, much better. God said in Genesis 17, I will bless Sarah with a son. She will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come out of her. She not only had a son at 90 years old, but she gave birth to nations. Kings of people came out of her. Maybe the reason your dream has taken longer, the reason that promise hasn't come to pass yet, is because what God is going to do is going to be so much bigger, so much more fulfilling than what you have in mind. You're not going to give birth to a son, but to nations, so to speak. The Scripture says Sarah laughed when she had that son. She even named him Isaac, which means laughter. The first time when she heard the promise, she laughed in unbelief, thinking there's no way. This time when she saw the promise, she laughed in amazement, thinking, wow, God, I never dreamed this could happen. I love how merciful God is. He could have said, fine, Sarah, if you think it's impossible, if you think it'll never happen, then I'll find someone else. But God doesn't hold our lack of faith, our doubt, our unbelief against us. You may have laughed in unbelief, thinking you could never get well, never get out of debt, never break that addiction, but I believe the second laugh is coming. You're going to laugh in amazement, overjoyed, full of wonder, thinking, wow, God, you've shown out in my life. Some of your right times, God has already scheduled wow moments, things you never dreamed would happen, favor like you've never seen, new levels for your family, opportunities, healing, the right people, abundance. Your right times are coming, and they're going to be better than you thought. Now, the key is to trust Him while you're waiting. Trust Him while His plan is unfolding. Don't get discouraged by what you don't see happening. Don't live frustrated because it's taken longer than you thought. The right time is the best time. God controls the universe. He can see things that we can't see. He can open doors no person can shut. Sometimes He'll keep a door closed. David said, God, my times are in your hands. He was saying, God, I trust you where I am. I'm not discouraged because I'm in the shepherd's fields being overlooked. I'm not frustrated because King Saul is chasing me. I'm not stressed out because people are slandering me, saying things that are not true. God, I believe my right times are coming. I believe you've already scheduled the promotion, the vindication, the breakthroughs, that you will make things happen that I can't make happen, that you will get me to my destiny. Genesis 21 says, Sarah conceived and gave birth to a son at the very time God had set. It's significant that when God gave them the promise, He said she would give birth at the appointed time. When the promise was fulfilled, He said it again. She had this baby at the set time. God was showing us He doesn't give you a promise without setting the right time. He puts it on the calendar. Now, how we wait is up to us. We can wait discouraged. When is it going to happen? God, I thought you said I was going to meet someone. It's been so long. I thought you said I was going to have a bountiful year. I'm in a pandemic. The only thing bountiful is my bills. No, switch over into faith. Be a believer and not a doubter. God, you said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. My child may be off course, but I thank you that the right time is coming, that you will turn things around, that He will honor you and fulfill His destiny. Or God, you said I would be the happy mother of children. Haven't been able to conceive yet, but I believe that the right time is coming, that there is a baby that already has my name on it. When you understand that God is going to make it happen, takes the pressure off. You can relax, you can live in peace. You just keep honoring God, and He'll take you places that you've never dreamed. I was in my early 20s, and I had never really dated anyone. I grew up playing sports, and I was always busy. Even after college, I was playing softball practically every night and tournaments on the weekend. I got tired of hanging out with all the guys, and I said, God, I want to meet someone. A few years went by, and nothing changed. I just kept believing that God had the right person already lined up. I didn't try to force it to happen. I just kept honoring God, doing the right thing, knowing that He was ordering my steps. One day, the battery from my watch died. My friend Johnny and I were going up to work out, and I saw this jewelry store on the way. I pulled in to get a battery. Out walked the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen to wait on me. It was Victoria. I didn't tell her, but I thought, God, you just answered my prayer. I didn't have to pray about it anymore. I wasn't walking by faith. I was walking by sight. She looked good. We started talking, and I found out she was a good Christian girl. She went to a church like ours across town. And I thought, that's great, because if she wasn't, I was about to convert her. I went in to buy a battery for my watch. She ended up selling me a whole new watch. She's been taking my money ever since then. What happened? I came in to a right time. God had already put that on my schedule. He had already lined everything up. Think about all that had to fall into place. There are hundreds of jewelry stores in Houston, but I chose that one. Alof Jewelers, her mom's jewelry store. Victoria could have been off that day. She could have been with another customer. She could have been out to lunch, but there she was, waiting for me. We started dating, and the funniest thing happened, she couldn't keep her hands off of me. I said, God, slow her down. I'm a Christian man, but that's my side of the story, y'all. Here's what I'm saying. God has some of these right times in your future. The right people are going to show up. The healing you're believing for, the promotion, the baby. You keep honoring God. You're going to come into these moments of favor where things happen that only God could make happen. I talked to a man in the lobby. He was diagnosed with cancer of the kidney. They were able to remove the kidney, but when they tested his lymph nodes, it came back positive. The cancer had spread all through his body. The doctors gave him less than 2 years to live. That was one report, but God has another report. And sometimes medical science comes to the end of what they can do. They run out of options. There was no more treatment they could give him. And the scripture talks about whose report are you going to believe? I'm not saying to deny the problem, act like it doesn't exist, but you do have to choose to believe what God says about you and not what people say. People can talk you out of your miracle. And this man was very respectful, but he told his doctors that he didn't believe he was finished, that he had more to do, and that he was going to defy the odds. His main doctor said, sir, you're in denial. You need to accept it and deal with it. Well, he came to MD Anderson, the cancer hospital here in Houston, to get a second opinion. He stopped by the service and asked us to pray. I told him what I tell you all the time, that God has the final say, that He can do what medicine cannot do, that when you believe all things are possible, that there are some right times in your future. The experts studied all of the records and they agreed with the first diagnosis. The man asked if they would take some new tests. They didn't see any need for it. Hadn't been that long, but they went ahead and ran all new tests. They came back a week later. The main doctor said, in all my years of practicing, I've never seen this, but we can't find any cancer in your body. One x-ray, it showed all the cancer. The new one, it was completely gone. When it's your right time, God says, I, the Lord, will make it happen. May seem impossible. The experts say no way. Like Sarah, God is asking you, is there anything too hard for the Lord? You don't know what God is up to. There are right times that are not just ordinary, not just a good break, but they are supernatural. It's the hand of God that defies the odds, that thrusts you into places that you can't go on your own, that makes ways where there was no way. What you're up against may look bigger, stronger, more powerful, but it's no match for our God. Stay in peace. You have the most powerful force in the universe on your side. Jesus was at a wedding in Galilee, and one point during the festivities, they ran out of wine. His mother, Mary, came up to him and told him about the problem. Said, they don't have any more wine. Can you do something about it? Jesus said, I can't do anything. My time has not yet come. Up to then, he'd never done a miracle. Never healed a person, never walked on water, never multiplied food. Yet his mother could sense that he was close to stepping into new levels of his destiny. Down deep, she knew he was going to impact the world. She just didn't know when. And when Jesus told her it wasn't the right time yet, Mary heard it. She understood what he was saying, but in faith, she told the assistants, just do whatever he asks you to do. She was saying his time may not have come yet, but it's close. There's about to be a shift. He's on the verge of his right time where he steps into his ministry, where a new level of favor and power and miracles are released. In just a few minutes after he said, my time has not yet come, he told the assistants to go fill the empty pots with water. As they were bringing them back, suddenly the water was turned into wine. He went from my time has not yet come to the right time is here. That was his first miracle. From then on, he went out and impacted the world. When you look at your circumstances, the obstacles you're up against, how long you've been trying to accomplish your goals, you could say like Jesus, my time has not yet come, Joel. I can't do anything about this challenge. But like Mary could sense something new was about to happen with Jesus, I can sense that God is about to do something greater in your life. You wouldn't be hearing this if you weren't about to come out of my time has not yet come into my right time is here. You're on the verge of stepping into a new season, a season of greater favor, promotion, and healing. Things that have held you back in the past, barriers that have limited your family, those powers are being broken. You're going to see influence, resources, talent coming out in ways you've never dreamed. Problems that look permanent are about to suddenly turn around. Family members that wouldn't have anything to do with you, that strife and division is coming down. You don't have to make this happen. It's going to be the hand of God. You came in to your right time. Like Mary said to those assistants, the key is to just do whatever God asks you to do. Just keep being faithful even though you don't see anything happening. Keep believing for your healing. Keep declaring that you're blessed. Keep thanking God that it will be a bountiful year. Your time may not have come yet, but it's closer than you think. There's about to be a shift from struggling to ease, from barely making it to abundance, from fighting that addiction to freedom, from dealing with that sickness to health and wholeness, from nothing working out, closed doors, to things falling into place. The right people, the contracts, the resources. What God promised already has the set time. It's not going to be 1 second late. We all face situations where it seems like the door is shut. We're working hard, but not getting good breaks. The loan didn't go through. We still haven't met anyone. Thoughts will tell you that door is never going to open. You can't accomplish your dreams. You don't have the training. You're locked out. Sometimes it's like a door has been slammed in our face. A person walked away. A friend betrayed us. We came down with an illness. The door looks permanently locked. But the scripture says God will open doors that no person can shut. God is your doorkeeper. He's in control of the doors in your life. You may be up against a door that seems locked. No way you can get well. No way you can start your business. No way you can break that addiction. That door is deadbolted, chained. No, when it's your time, the Most High God will break the chains. He's about to unlock some doors that have been locked. You're about to walk into what you've been shut out of. Promotion, healing, freedom, the right people. Don't believe the lies that the doors are permanently closed. The God who opens doors is about to show out in your life. Maybe you've been shut out of abundance, stuck behind a door of lack, not enough. I can see that door opening right now. God is doing a new thing. He's about to take you where you've never been. The Israelites wandered in the desert 40 years, shut out of the promised land. They could see it, but they couldn't go in it. The door was closed. The people living there were bigger, stronger, more powerful. They couldn't defeat them. But just because the door has been closed doesn't mean it's going to stay closed. God told Joshua, it's time to possess the land. He was saying, Joshua, I know the door has been shut. I haven't allowed you to go in. The obstacles were too big, but this is a new season. I'm going to open this door so you can enter the promised land. Doors that have been closed a long time for you are about to open. David said in Psalm 24, open up ancient gates and the King of glory will come in. Ancient gates means things that have been shut for years. Doors that have been closed in your family line for generations. Things you've been shut out of. Dealing with addictions, depression, low self-esteem, mediocrity. Those ancient gates are about to open up. Like the Israelites, you're about to walk into your promised land, to blessings, freedom, wholeness, success. I can see chains breaking right now. Deadbolts coming off, doors opening. You're coming out of generational curses, generational limitations, generational struggles, into generational blessings. What's been stored up for your family is about to be released with you. What's been held back, what should have been yours, it's not lost, it's been accumulating. Ancient gates are going to open up. You couldn't make this happen. It's the King of Glory. It's the Most High God. It's your doorkeeper doing what only He can do. And here's the key. The doors that have been closed weren't closed by accident. God was getting you prepared for what's next. The scripture says He didn't take the Israelites the shortest route to the promised land because they weren't ready for war. They would have been defeated by their enemies. That time you've been shut out, the door has been closed, was not wasted. God was doing a work in you, getting you stronger, making sure you could carry the weight of glory. You were faithful. You kept doing the right thing. You didn't complain when it wasn't fair. You didn't get bitter over who did you wrong. You passed the test. You proved to God that you would be faithful. Now you're going to come into favor, resources, opportunities. You're going to see what your parents and grandparents dreamed of. You're going to walk into the blessing that they prayed for. These ancient gates are about to open for you. It's because of your grandmother's prayers. It's because your great-grandfather honored God. You're going to see generational blessings. My father dreamed of having an auditorium with 20,000 seats. He talked about how one day he was going to buy the Compaq Center. This is when he had an auditorium that held 2,000 people. Years before the Rockets ever moved out of this facility, God put the dream in him. He could sense something big was coming, but that door never opened. He stayed shut out. But God knows what He's doing. He's a faithful God. The fulfillment of that dream wasn't for my father, it was for his children. That was an ancient gate that had been shut. It was in our family line. God had already promised it. At the right time, the doorkeeper opened that ancient gate. I'm living in the dream that started with my father. Daddy was very influential. He was very blessed, but he never saw the favor that God has shown me. And I say this in humility, giving God all the credit, but God has taken me much further than my father. I often think about, what would my father think now? He couldn't even fathom what God is doing. I believe there are blessings stored up in your family line. Your parents, those that went before you, they may have seen God's goodness. They were blessed, but they didn't realize it was limited. They were in some way still locked out. Like God did with me, you're going to see ancient gates open up. You're going to see the fullness of what God had in mind. Maybe there's been depression in your family line, sicknesses, everybody gets heart disease, everyone gets divorced, strife, division. It's like you've been locked out of good relationships, locked out of happiness, locked out of good health. God is saying those ancient gates are about to open. Doors that have been shut for your family, chains that have limited you for generations are being broken. God is releasing you into increase, into new levels, into something that you've never seen. It wasn't what you did, it was the doorkeeper showing you favor, bringing the right people, freeing you from that addiction, lifting you out of the struggle and lack into more than enough. Now get this down in your spirit, doors are about to open. God's going to take you where you can't go on your own. Chains that have kept those doors locked, they're dead-bolted. They look permanent. They are no match for our God. Psalm 107 says, He broke down their gates of bronze. He cut in two their bars of iron. You may have struggled with the sickness a long time. Looks like you'll never get well. The door to health has been chained, so to speak. I can see the chain breaking. I can see the hinges moving. God's about to do something supernatural. Or that addiction, depression, anxiety may seem permanent. Every thought tells you you'll have to live with it. You've been locked out of freedom. I can see the deadbolt turning. I can see the door starting to open. You're about to walk into wholeness. Or it seems like you can't accomplish your dream. You don't have the connection, Loan didn't go through. Like it's an iron door. It'll never move. I can see those bars of iron being cut in two. I can see God doing something unusual, uncommon. He's about to unlock some things that have been limiting you. Doors that look impossible are about to suddenly open. A door to healing, a door to freedom, a door to promotion, a door to a spouse, a door to a baby. The report may say, you can't have children. You've tried everything. Seems like the door is locked. Medically speaking, it's not going to happen. No, get ready. The doorkeeper is about to open up your womb. Against all odds, you're going to conceive and have that baby you've been dreaming about. You've been single a long time. That door to meeting someone has been closed. Thoughts will tell you you'll always be lonely. No, a door is about to open. You're about to see a divine connection. The right person is already en route. The reason you haven't seen them yet is they've been behind a closed door. The good news is God is your doorkeeper. He knows not only how to open the door, but when to open the door. When it's the right time, all the forces of darkness cannot stop what God has purposed for your life. You need to tell every closed door, you are not permanent. You will not keep me from my destiny. You don't have the final say. My doorkeeper has the final say. He's promised he will open doors no person can shut. He will cut through bars of iron. He will break chains to get me into my purpose. I can see right now through my eyes of faith, doors opening. I can see chains breaking. I can see you stepping into new levels of freedom, health, favor, abundance. I can see ancient gates that have held you back for years. They're opening up. The King of Glory is about to come in. He's going to do things you can't explain. It's going to be supernatural. Doors opening you never dreamed would open. Promotion coming to you. The right people showing up. Healing when the report says there's no way. Freedom from things that have limited you. These open doors are going to catapult you into a new level of your destiny. Acts chapter 12, King Herod had Peter arrested and put in prison. Herod was against the church. He had already had James, one of the apostles, killed. Looked like Peter would be next. He was in the deepest part of the prison, chained between two guards. Herod had assigned 16 soldiers to watch over Peter. There were 2 guard stations with 2 doors he would have to pass. On top of that, there was a huge iron gate at the entrance of the property. Herod went to great lengths to make sure that Peter didn't escape. What he didn't realize was he was not the doorkeeper. He was not in control of Peter's destiny. There will always be people and circumstances that try to keep you behind closed doors. Like Herod assigned those soldiers to hold Peter back, there are forces assigned to you to try to stop your purpose. The good news is the forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. You may have these times where you're behind closed doors. You feel like you're outnumbered. The odds are against you. You have to remind yourself who your doorkeeper is. You have to keep this scripture in your spirit that God will open doors that no person can shut. The enemy may have put you behind a door of sickness, a door of trouble, a door of addiction. You feel chained. There's no way out. No, your time is coming. God wouldn't have let that door close if he didn't have a way to open it. We have a gate on our driveway at home. Sometimes when a friend is coming over or repairman, I'll watch for them out the back door. I can see when a car pulls up. They'll come to the gate and stop. When they're about to get out and try to figure out how to get in, I'll hit the remote control from the house. The gate opens, they drive in. Invariably, they'll say, I didn't know how I was going to get in. Then the gate just opened up. I tell them, yes, I was watching for you. I have the remote control. In life, you'll come to these times where you're at a gate, a closed door. You don't have the code. You don't know how you can get through it. It's too big. It's an iron gate. Don't worry, God has the remote. There's not a gate you're behind that God doesn't have the control. It works all the way from heaven. All he has to do is push the button, give the command, and angels go to work. Mighty warriors, these powerful forces carry out God's command. When you come to a closed door, an iron gate, like I was watching for my company, knowing that they weren't going to be able to get in on their own, how much more is God watching for you? How much more is He aware of what you need, where you are, what you're up against? He knows when you're at a big gate, an iron door, you don't have the code. The sickness is staring at you, the financial problem, the child that's off course, you're locked out. No way you can get past that gate. Stay in peace. God sees you and He has the remote. When it's the right time, that gate will open, chains will be broken, bars of iron will be cut in two. When God wants it to open, nothing can stop Him from opening it. Peter was in prison, chained between two guards. The next day, he was going to be brought to trial. He knew there was a good chance this was the last night of his life. What was he doing? Worrying, complaining, pacing the floor? No, in his most difficult challenge, he was sound asleep. He understood this principle, that even though there was an iron gate in front of him, no way he could get out on his own, he knew that God was his doorkeeper, that God had the remote control. So when he could have been panicked, frustrated, he was at rest. And I've learned when you rest, God goes to work. But when you work, when you're worried, stressed, what am I going to do? God rests. Come back to a place of peace. God has the remote control to any door that you're facing. The enemy may have closed it. There's an iron gate, but God is the doorkeeper. Herod did his best to keep Peter from getting out. What he didn't realize is he couldn't keep God from coming in. The scripture says God is a very present help in trouble. God comes with you in the prison, in the hospital, in the betrayal. While Peter was sleeping in the middle of the night, an angel showed up, walked over to Peter to wake him up. Notice how God comes to the dark places. He comes when you're hurting, when you're lonely, when life is not fair. You couldn't get to Him, but God comes to you. He's with you right now. He has something in His hand. It's the remote control. He knows how to bring you out. The moment Peter woke up, the chains fell off his wrist. The angel didn't have a key. He didn't have some big wire cutters. Supernaturally, the chains fell off. The angel told Peter to get dressed and follow him. It's significant that none of the other guards woke up. God is strategic. He knows how to hide you. He knows how to make you invisible to the enemy. The angel and Peter walked out of the dungeon. They passed the first set of guards. The guards didn't see them. Passed the second set of guards, same thing. Everything was great up to this point, but now they came to the iron gate. This was the big one. It secured the whole facility. I can imagine Peter thinking, oh man, what are we going to do now? We made it through the small doors. This one looks impossible. The angel said, Peter, just keep on walking. They're walking toward a gate that's not opening, moving toward a gate that's made out of iron. Every thought was telling Peter, you're stuck. Nothing's happening. There's no way to get out. But they just kept on walking. When they got to the gate, the scripture says the gate opened of its own accord. What happened? God hit the remote control. Herod thought he controlled the gate. He didn't realize God was Peter's doorkeeper. There may be gates that are controlled by other people, but when it affects your destiny, God becomes the doorkeeper. Herod's men had control of that gate to a point, but when it affected Peter and his purpose, God said, I'll take the remote. When you realize that God is your doorkeeper, that even iron gates, doors that look impossible, situations where you don't see a way out, that God has the remote control, then you can live in peace. You can stay in faith, knowing that God will get you to where you're supposed to be. Part of the test is when the gate is not moving, Peter kept walking. Didn't open up until he got to it. You have to keep walking by faith. The medical report is not improving. Your child's not doing better. Your dream is not any closer. That iron gate is staring at you. Thoughts whispering, you might as well go back. You made it through a couple closed doors, but this big one is not going to open. You see the iron. You see the medical report. You know what your finances are. No, keep walking by faith and not by sight. When it's the right time, it's going to open of its own accord. You didn't have to force it, manipulate, strive. It will be the hand of God. That's what happened with us, with the Compaq Center. After working almost 3 years, one of our main votes backed out. Now we were 1 vote shy. The final vote was in 2 days. Didn't look like it would happen. Like Peter, this was an iron gate. We were tempted to think, well, too late now. This gate's not going to open. Instead, we just kept on walking. God, we only have 24 hours left. We don't see a way. It looks impossible, but we know you're the doorkeeper. You're the one that opens and closes doors. At the last minute, a lady I had never met called a council member that had been against us the whole time. He suddenly changed his mind and we got the facility. The gate opened of its own accord. I didn't make it happen. Wasn't my skills, my talent. It was the hand of God moving on a lady that I didn't know to call a council member on our behalf. She was able to do in 5 minutes what I couldn't do in 3 years. You may not see any sign of that iron gate opening. It looks immovable. The sickness, the addiction. How can you accomplish your dream? Just keep on walking by faith. Keep thanking God. Keep declaring His promises. Keep speaking victory. God is about to step in as your doorkeeper. It's going to be unusual. Of its own accord, it's going to open. It's not going to happen the way you think, with the people you think, how the experts think. You're not going to be able to explain it. You will know it is the hand of God. What's interesting is the whole time that Peter was following the angel, he thought he was dreaming. He thought he was seeing himself leaving the dungeon, going past the guards, the iron gate opening. He didn't realize it was real until he got out on the street, walking as a free man. Then the angel suddenly disappeared. Sometimes while God is working, you don't realize all that's happening while you're in it. He's doing things right now that are leading you to open doors. Only after you get past it, you'll look back and think, wow, God, you were with me the whole time. You were ordering my steps. You brought that person across my path for a reason. You made me invisible to those people that weren't for me. How many times have angels worked on our behalf, but we couldn't see it? Even now, God is working behind the scenes. There are doors He's about to open for you, doors of healing, doors to freedom, doors to abundance. Looks like an iron gate, but of its own accord, it's going to open. When Peter realized what had happened, that it was real, he walked to Mary's house where everyone had gathered to pray for him. It was in the middle of the night. He knocked on the door. A young lady answered. She was so surprised to see Peter, she shut the door, ran back, and told everyone that Peter was there. I'm sure Peter thought, oh God, not another closed door. Verse 16 says, Peter continued knocking. When they finally opened the door, they were all amazed at what God had done. There are doors God will open for you that are going to amaze you. Now, don't be discouraged because they've been closed a long time. That was all a part of the process. God has not forgotten about you. The angel is about to show up. Iron gates are about to open. It's not going to be what you were thinking. It's going to be bigger, better, more fulfilling. A friend of mine worked as a television news reporter, and she had a real bad problem with rosacea. Her skin would get so red. She couldn't find any makeup that would keep it covered. If she accidentally touched her face, it would rub off and not look good. She decided to quit her job and try to develop makeup that would fix her problem. Told them, came up with a product that she really loved. She and her husband tried to get funding, but bank after bank turned them down. Told them how the cosmetic field was too competitive controlled by a few global companies, that there was no way they could break in. It was like an iron gate. She didn't see how it could ever open, but she did understand that God is our doorkeeper, that He can open doors that no person can shut. Her dream was to get on QVC. She went to a big cosmetic convention. She had a 3 feet wide booth where she was showing people her product. Across the way, QVC had a huge display. This older lady came by and said, "Honey, I love your product. I'm one of the buyers for QVC. I'm going to tell my staff we need to have you on." She used her influence to open the door. This young lady went on QVC. Her product took off, broke all kinds of records. My friend Jamie Kern, the founder of IT Cosmetics, became a huge success. She was on QVC 200 times a year. Her company is one of the largest cosmetic companies in the world. Years later, Jamie asked the lady why she put in a good word for her. The lady said, "Jamie, I liked your product, but it wasn't about the cosmetics. When I saw you that day, I heard God say to me, go help that young lady." Sometimes God will use people to open up these iron gates. He has the right people already lined up for you. You may not even know them now. They will come to you. They'll use their influence to push you forward. You don't have to make it happen. You just keep honoring God. Keep Him first place, and the doorkeeper will open doors that no person can shut. Like Jamie, you may have worked hard, prayed, believed, done all you can, but nothing has worked out. Get ready. I believe and declare doors are about to open for you. In your business, your health, relationships, your finances. Like Peter, these iron gates, doors that look permanent of their own accord, are going to suddenly open.